The Ministry of Finance has announced a reduction in Egypt's overall budget deficit during the first 8 months of the fiscal year 2024-2025, covering the period from July to February, according to the ministry. The overall deficit stood at 879.3 billion Egyptian pounds, equivalent to 5.1% of the GDP, compared to 898 billion Egyptian pounds, or 6.5% of GDP during the same period last year. In a report released today, the ministry also noted a significant increase in the primary surplus, which rose by approximately 137 billion Egyptian pounds to reach 330 billion Egyptian pounds, equivalent to 1.9% of the GDP, up from 193 billion Egyptian pounds, or 1.4% of GDP the year. Oman Electricity Transmission Company has announced that the country is anticipating a significant increase in 2025, with loads expected to rise by over 10%. It confirmed that its technical teams and operational systems are fully prepared to ensure the reliability and stability of the transmission network during peak periods. This announcement follows a series of technical workshops focused on reviewing load forecasts, optimizing the economic operation of generation units, and exploring solutions to enhance network performance across the Sultanate. Bloomberg has reported that China re-exported more than 280,000 tons of liquefied natural gas so far in April, the highest volume ever in a single month. That is equivalent to 7.7% of total imports for the month. The high volume of re-exports is likely spurred by weak domestic demand. Chinese LNG exports are rare, but the country has leaned into the practice since November, with the volume increasing from the start of the year. The resales provide relief to buyers elsewhere, especially importers in Europe, who are looking to refill inventories and replace the loss of Russian pipeline deliveries. Oil prices were stable on Monday as investors weighed up uncertainty over trade talks between the U.S. and China, clouding the outlook for global growth and fuel demand, as well as the prospect of the OPEC Plus raising supply. Brent crude futures were down 0.2% at $66.72 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude shed 0.25% to $62.86 a barrel. Brent futures rose marginally in the previous two sessions, but nonetheless marked a week-on-week decrease of over 1% on Friday on concerns about the impact of tariffs on the global economy. Gold prices dipped for a second straight session on Monday as U.S.-China trade tensions eased and the market awaited data due this week. Spot gold was down 0.6% at $3,297.10 an ounce. U.S. gold futures rose 0.3% to $3,307.8. Japan's Vice Finance Minister for International Affairs, Atsushi Mimura, denied a media report claiming that the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent expressed a preference for a weak dollar and a strong yen during bilateral meeting in Washington. Mimura clarified that the U.S. side did not discuss exchange rate targets during the finance minister talks. Japanese finance minister also refuted the report on social media, reiterating that exchange rate targets were not part of their discussions. In markets, global shares witnessed mixed performance. In the U.S., 0.18%, the S&P 500 lost 0.65%, and the Nasdaq Composite climbed 1.14%. In Europe, tradings were all in green as the UK's FTSE 100 inched up 0.21%. Germany's DAX hiked 0.25% and France's CAC 40 jumped 0.63%. In Asia, Japan's Nikkei 225 rose 0.38%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index futures inched down 0.04%. The Shanghai Composite lost 0.20%.